also why the provincial units were that important.
Go ahead, say that again, Paul. No, I'm going to flip it around. Yeah.
I was like, but it's really nice. It's wonderful.
Oh, it says poor connection? All right, I'll hang up the phone.
They would actually say we used
I haven't seen him for a while. I'm not sure. It hasn't been used forever yet.
Good afternoon. Thank you for coming.
She lived up to around 90. Wasn't that 90?
Yeah. 6 pages of color comments. So this is something we want to go through. You see when people start throwing it, you know why they go like this? You see, they want like this, and they dig around, and you got to fidget across the Germans. We pretend we drive. We pretend. And then it just went out. What theaters? I couldn't hear Al very much. Yeah.
Well, before you get ready to do your next run, I'll climb up with you and listen. And we'll see what I can do.
Really?
I just want to be sure it's off.
Okay. Really?
Nothing came alive.
Yeah, we have one. We have one.
I know you have.
To fire the Springfield rifle, it was fed from a 5-round stripper clip. The rounds were stripped off of it as it was inserted into the rifle.
Why didn't put the rifle? It wasn't used. I really wasn't thinking about shooting.
We're going to shoot this, so it might be loud. So if you guys want to cover your ears, it's good stuff. All right? I'm going to yell fire in the hole, so all these guys know what I'm about to do. Fire in the hole! Fire in the hole! So that's 5 rounds out of a Springfield rifle. That's what every military in the world was using. We're going to compare that to the American M1 rifle. The American rifle held 8 rounds, so there was an advantage right there. It was fed from an M block clip, which is different than a stripper clip. So the entire clip is inserted into the rifle cartridge.
Yeah, because I took it and I left it in the case.
Fire in the hole! Fire in the hole! Blanks are rough to keep it functioning, but you can see the difference in fire. So if you had an American squad armed with M1 rifles and the sergeant yelled for a base of fire, the amount of fire that you could put down on an enemy position or an enemy force was devastating. The Germans had a very good rifle, possibly overbuilt, held together with screws, and they were so fastidious that the screws are held in with screws so that the screws wouldn't come out. They would serial number the rifle and all the parts such as the sight, the butt plate, parts that really didn't need to be stamped with serial numbers. Even the screws got serial numbers from the rifle. Then they'd slug the bore and stamp that on there as well. That guy that was stamping the boards could probably be carrying ammo at the front line. They might have done better. So you always have to take care of your rifle. Ammunition during the Second World War had a lot of salt in it. Salt holds moisture, which causes rust. You have to clean your weapon often. The Americans didn't need everybody to walk around carrying a screwdriver when you could just take it apart by unclamping the trigger guard. Most other weapons you need a screwdriver of some sort. The American rifles, you could take parts out of one and put them in another. They would work perfectly.
Yeah, you guys, these days, you go over, you put it on a lift, you guys just use straight up a handful of guys in the middle of a mud field. What you have to do is
over. You start the tracks come in sections. Yeah, and you have to sort of make it, I guess, in a line. And yeah, I know.
These two gentlemen right here. Say hello to the Prime Minister, please.
Victory at all
The
costs!
people would like to take a close look at Watson's, Steve DeMayo. We have the crew for the Hellcat all the way at the north end of the field. Wonderful gentlemen, well schooled in that vehicle. We have on the left here, the Dingo Scout Car. Great Britain. We have an H-20. Mr. Joe Reitshire in there.
Is that what today's all about, guys?
Imagine this thing on your back. What a charge would you take? So this was also used for fixed position because this is a more efficient antenna. But it could get 30 rounds. Unfortunately, the batteries last one battery, the whole bottom, about 20 hours. That's it. And then they needed another battery. So
She's still carrying the battery.
other guys carried the batteries. And they called for huge numbers of these batteries in the Pacific because it was so crucial to the communications. And there's one image here. There's one image of a Marine on what I'm almost sure is Iwo Jima, that volcanic soil. And he's operating this, you'll notice it's a short antenna. And he's operating a DC-1000. And now after the war, this one went to Italy. It had a label when I got it from the Italian Military Services. It served in Italy till the 70s, and then it was surplused from Italy.
But this was made on December 11th, 1944, 5 days before the Battle of the Bulge began. So it's really quite ancient. Carefully restored the electronics. It's not done a perfect job on the cabinet. The Italians painted it 50 times until the paint was like a half-inch thick. It was this kind of dirty green. And I got the wrinkle finish back, but I didn't get the color. Have a nice little pool, little fire, just to keep up here. Sit around.
Get it?
What?
5 to 30-06 round, but we use a 308 for the reading. Anything else?
Any questions, Cam?
Instead of using, you can still fire your live regular ammunition, but you put a rifle. This is just one style.
It's either between you dying and trying to take out the 200 Russian tanks.
It's called the Shooting Squad. It comprised of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 men. One guy was the squad leader. The second guy was the machine gunner. His name was Schutz Ein, Schutz number 1. He had to be the best marksman in the squad. He had to have the best cool, under fire nerves. Then he had an assistant gunner, an ammo bearer, and then the rest were riflemen. Each rifleman would have 2 hand grenades. Pass me a grenade. Each man had 2 of these, and they would carry at least 1 can of ammunition with 200 rounds. The assistant gunner. all the little holes, you know, here and there. Like, the camera just so everything light up. A lot of this stuff that you see here is just basic equipment that all go across the Army, Marines, Europe, Pacific, they would all carry. You know, what you're looking at here is, like I said, the M1 Garand was the main battle rifle. It was issued to most of the troops. If you were a specialist or an officer, so let's say you were carrying, you were part of a mortar team, you'd be issued an M1 carbine. Because you're already carrying the mortar, you're carrying the sight, you're carrying the rounds. You don't want to carry an extra 10 pounds with the rifle. So they give you something smaller to defend yourself. You know, you would have your bayonets. Some guys were issued knives. Some would get gas masks. Some of them wouldn't bother using it because gas wasn't as common as it was in World War I. You know, obviously, some even more important things: toilet paper. You know, letters from home, personal items. You know, and there's all sorts of other stuff depending on what you're in. So, for instance, I have. Yeah.
It even has a little hanger.
It's white gold. So some of the stuff, if you were in, let's say, the Army Corps of Engineers, here's a compass that you would be issued. This is from right here, Long Island City, Queens. Yeah, so all sorts of little things. but they all made a difference. You know, you had sewing kits, shave kits that the guys could carry. Some guys would carry a little soldier's Bible with them, you know, for when they're sitting pools, books to read, your mess kits.
Yeah, I had one that like that.
You know, all sorts of stuff, raincoats, ponchos, whatever was issued to you, whatever you could get your hands on over time. A lot of guys carried with them. Yes and no. You know, you were issued like your basic gear for going overseas, which you would put in your bag. Okay, you carry that with you, and then you would also have a foot locker that you would keep stuff in. But when you go overseas, let's say you're doing a combat patrol, you're sitting on the front lines, you don't need all that gear with you. So a lot of guys, that's where like things like meal rations would come in. You carry this with you, you have your ammo, your canteen, stuff like that. But if you were sitting back at headquarters where there was a cook and everything, then it really didn't matter. You know?
Today. No gym needed today or tomorrow. I want to thank Katie, all the people manning our tent who sold those tickets and kept track. They got the waiver signed and all that. So thank you.
Victory at all costs.
And we have the Prime Minister of England, World War II leader of England, the Prime Minister Winston Churchill. We see the Navy here today. Apparently they've beached, they have their bike out.